Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. I have my friend here, Josh Nichols. This is Technical Tuesday. You guys asked for it. Here it is. I'm working like a Hebrew slave. And so we did Technical Tuesday. Well, we did technicals the other day and you guys requested more of it. Hey, make sure at the end of this video that you check out all of the links. Now is the time to be brave and buying these dips, not all of the dips, but smart dips, right? And to continue to dollar cost average. I'm putting more stress, excuse me, more stress on dollar cost averaging than buying the dips. So we're going to continue to dollar cost average through, okay? I'm going to leave a link here with my $5 a day challenge, okay? All right, Josh, tell the people, well, introduce yourself for those that don't know you and tell the people what's going on.
Well, my name is Josh Nichols. I was able to be on Larry's program yesterday and found that pretty enjoyable to read the comments. I found his community to be the most encouraging group of people I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was Sunday.
Larry, you have a very positive community, and I loved it.
It's the family.
Yes, it is. But yeah, and you know, a little bit of my background. Larry and I have been friends for a couple decades, and back in 2008, I had some money that I was ready to begin to invest in the market, and I happened to just be chatting with him about it, and found out that he had been investing. And so at that point, we just began to get together a little bit more often at the coffee shops and share what we were doing and kind of feeding off of each other.
Correct.
So, you know, Larry was actually the person who got me into trading and into finance. So all the money I've made and the accomplishments I've had, you know, they're rooted in our friendship. I imagine I might not have started that journey, or I might have entrusted someone else. I remember I went to Chase Bank at the time, and they had a VP come out to meet me and wanted to invest my money for me, and he sold himself, and it seemed like something I should do. But I, because of our relationship, was given a little bit of the confidence I needed to look at investing my own money.
Right. Like my uncle would say when he comes to the barbecue, "Can I hold something?" No, I'm just joking. We go back and forth for like the solid.
That's where it began.
That's it. Hey, and Josh so our journey, and we're going to get right into two hot, I believe, some really good EV charging stations. So our journeys were very interesting. I leaned heavy into fundamentals. He leaned heavy into technicals, right? And so we constantly challenge, sometimes I'll say, Josh, close the computer, and this is what's happening with the stock, or this is what's happening with the company. And we both learned a lot.
Okay, well, we talked about looking at ChargePoint and Volta, and so we're going to do some really basic. Let's go to the charts, and we're going to do some overview of how these stocks have been performing and kind of what to expect. So we're just going to take a big overview of it, and we're going to draw some trend lines. Okay.
Okay.
So we have a pretty clear trend line here as a line of resistance. And I actually believe that we have a descending support line. Many times a support line is ascending, but in this case, we have a descending support line. And we have another line of support.
I'm going to say something really brief.
Go ahead.
Descending support line is when the support line is going down, right? And so ascending is when it's going up, because we have a lot of newbies.
Yes.
And just point it out right quick and then just go right to it.
Okay. And we also have a line of historical price support here. Okay. So at this point in time, and I'm really trying to give people a kind of a broad overview, right? We had back here on January 24th, we touched down on this descending support line, right? It gave us a bounce, and now we're consolidating, okay? And this happened to be in line with sort of the base that was formed for this back in October 30th, right? Before we had this sort of large parabolic run up. So the descending support line that was established after this had run up has sort of met with the base support line of this stock before it had run up, okay? And so now this kind of gives us a little bit of a place where we could begin to nibble and to begin to enter into this stock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
call out the price point.
yeah, the price that we're looking for. So this came down as far as on January 25th, 1121.
Okay, 1121.
Right.
Okay.
And we've come down, and let's just sort of zoom in on this. We've come down and we've retested that, and we have two other times failed to go lower, right? And that doesn't mean that that will hold. It just means that we have a local area of support that's formed. And what we're looking for is when this begins to move, Larry, and it begins to possibly go into an area where we would touch our descending line of resistance, okay? And that's also happens to align itself with a previous heavy line of support that we had back at $19. So I'm just going to point out here that this area right here was a breakout area, okay? And it was a line of support here on March 5th. Again, it became a bounce-off line of support on April, or March 26th. Yep, and again, it was a line of support, and yet again, it was a line of support, and then eventually it was a line of support here, okay? Right. And and it briefly broke down and it touched this line of support, and it broke back through, but eventually, when it broke back beneath this line of support, it became a line of resistance. And so now we're up against this price, right? And so the trade that I see on ChargePoint, the short-term trade, is the price action between $12 and the $19 region. Right. If the market continues to go down with global news, we could easily see this go down. There is no after the current line of support that we have bounced off of, the next line would be $10.
Yeah, just free fall.
Yeah. So if we hold this line, which we have here, we've held this line of local support, we understand that we at least have a trading range. And that's what I'm trying to point out to your audience, is that we have a fairly clear trading range between $12 and the $17 to $19 area. Yeah, so, I really see, Larry, this particular trade being heavily affected. It's sort of going against oil, right? So right now, oil is going up, and up, and it's going to continue to rise as long as we have this geopolitical crisis, right?
Absolutely.
And so the money's going to stay in oil. It's going to roll into oil. Yep. And when people begin to take profits there, now this is the fundamental part. Right. This is the stuff I pick up from you.
Exactly.
Right.
When this war is over and we realize that we know oil is needed for natural gas. I know about that argument. But, and I know that the charging stations have to be charged, and that energy is generated from natural gas. We understand that. But we're going to cut off our dependency on oil more seriously after this. As a matter of fact, this geopolitical situation is a positive for charging stations and EVs.
Because the minute the war is over and oil is $150 or $200 a barrel, everybody's going to begin to say to themselves again, we need to get on these charging stations.
Yep. Let's go right to Volta.
Okay. All right. And these are pretty loosely drawn, more or less for the sake of conversation here. And, we don't have the same amount of history on Volta as we do on ChargePoint.
Right, because it was a SPAC. So was ChargePoint, but ChargePoint has been a grown-up stock for a little while now. Volta hasn't been a grown-up stock for long enough.
And you brought Volta to me. I didn't really know anything about it. It wasn't on my horizons. And, I was, because you brought it to me, I started nibbling on it. I started taking a small position. And you were going in heavy. And I remember the day you told me, Josh, and it was down. There was no clear sign that it was going up, and there was nobody else talking about it. And you said, Josh, I've got conviction on this. Yeah. Right? And so that is really why I started to track Volta, and it's why I've continued to keep it in my purview.
That's cool.
All right, so we are dealing with these descending lines again, and we are getting to a place where we are consolidating in this region. We have made a new local low. And so from the standpoint of, what bullish overview do we have on Volta, right? I would simply say the bullish overview that I have on Volta is this area of being oversold, okay? So even though the price made a lower low, let's just go to zoom in so everybody can see this better, okay? Even though the price made a lower low on February 24th, over here on the RSI, we have what's called bullish divergence, okay? So what that means for everybody is that the number of sellers significantly outweighed the number of buyers, all right, on January 27th. And that was sort of a peak of selling pressure on that day, okay? And after that time, we have continued to, it rallied a little bit of relief rally, and then it came back down, except for you notice that the percentage of sellers over buyers is much less. And so even though the price has come down, people are picking that up. More buyers are entering the space.
Yes.
And so that gives us the idea that we might be seeing might be establishing a low.
Yes.
Okay, we might be establishing a base, right? And this is again.
Show them what price that the base is.
Well, I would say largely around the 420 to 450 range.
Right. So now we want you to understand that anything could happen with this geopolitical situation. The Fed rate hikes, all of this stuff is weighing on this. But that's why I always suggest just getting like dollar cost averaging. I've been dollar cost averaging into Volta, as you know.
We have seen a 270% drop from its very top at this point. So, we've really come down on the price on that. But what I would point out at this point is that we have established a little bit of a trading range, and with this bullish divergence on the RSI, if it continues to trend in that way, I would say this is an area where I have no problem picking up and nibbling.
Look at the folks in the eye and tell them what that range is.
Okay, we're looking at a price range. I would say that we're looking at a price range from around the mid $4 area to back to the $10.13. So that is the range in which if we begin to move up, we're going to see pressure there. It established a long base of consolidation.
We're going to get some resistance.
Yeah, we're going to see resistance. We're going to see sellers coming back in, taking profit. But there's over 100% profit opportunity in that range.
Absolutely. I'm working for y'all hard, good people. I'm working hard for y'all. So let's go to Evgo. Can we touch on Evgo?
All right, let's take a look at it.
Let's work it. Let's work it.
All right, so on Evgo, we saw this sell-off on January 27th. We did not actually get into the oversold range. However, Evgo overall has been more bullish than some of the other charging stations
because they have some nice contracts.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you see that in their history, they've actually never entered into oversold. I mean, they touched it here, they touched it there. At this moment in time, Evgo has closed above the 50% mark, and it has come back, tested that, and remains in a bullish territory. And you see that it is trying to break through what had previously been a line of support. It's right up against it, and I would probably say that if we continue to hit this, it never continues to hit it without it eventually breaking through, right? And if we did that, we would see that we have again established trading range between $7 and I would say probably this $16 to $17 area.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Two things I'm going to ask you to do, and that's to hit that like button and leave me a comment if you want this to continue, all right? Let's get these likes up on this video and let's get this information out. I do everything I can to help you guys with all the necessary tools to be a better trader. Anything you want to say in closing?
Just that I love Larry's community, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my
Hey
trade
man,
ideas.
it's the family, man. I have the best community on YouTube. I know other guys will say they have it, but it's you guys. You guys are the family. Until next time, listen, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell, but leave me a comment if this was helpful. It really was, good people. All right, we'll see you later. Live, love, laugh, and learn.